Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division 2 video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you game 2 of a best of 3 between Gnef and Karma in round 1 of the finals in season 4 of the Steel Division 2 League. Today they are playing on Shchedrin, and on our left in the red team playing on the allied side we have Gnef using the 2nd Infantry Indian head and the Vanguard deployment type. And on our right in the blue team playing on the Axis side, we have Karma using the 21st Panzer and the Maverick deployment type. In the previous game, Gnef went 1 up with the Falchion Panzer Göring. A very nice game there, using the Sturm Tiger at one point to get an awesome triple kill. So if you missed that, make sure to go check it out. But today, an Allied versus Axis matchup. I know some of you guys don't like it when the same faction goes up against each other. In this case, we're going back to the Western Front as we see an American division go up against a Western Axis division. So there we go. Let's have a look at what's going down. So over here we've got Ranger Marauders. There's going to be the 50 cal, M4A1, Engineers, Ranger Leader, and a Mortar on the top there for Gnef. Further down we see Ranger Marauders, Engineers, Ranger T30, M1 gun with an M10 destroyer, and on the very bottom side we see 50 cal, bazooka, Ranger Leader, lots of engineers going into the town, M10, M4 and a bazooka. Let's quickly have a look at what Karma's got going down. Pack 38 going to be covering the open. Ersatztruppen heading into the town with a bunch of recon vehicles, the 259s here. Ersatztruppen just going to be holding the top of the hill there. We've got more Ersatztruppen, couple Pack 38s, couple MG42s, Aufkladder in the 222 there with the 259s. So lots of recon vehicles coming out for the 21st Panzer. Recon vehicles were very prevalent in this patch because they were the best form of recon that you could get at the time. So there we go. This map is kind of an interesting one. You've of course got the town at the bottom, which encourages the infantry engagements. Ersatztruppen are going to get chewed up by engineers, so I wouldn't be surprised if Gnef can break down the Ersatztruppen quite quickly. He's just going to have to be careful of these half tracks. In the top side, it's a more open engagement, and I would expect Gnef to lose that engagement due to the Panzer IV matchup at range against an M4. Generally, the Panzer IV wins, especially against like an M4A1 with only the 90 mils of frontal armor there. And the other thing, of course, that Karma can have up his sleeve is the King Tiger, and in open ground, of course, that is King. So the 222 already doing some damage here, does manage to clip one of the engineers that's trying to push up on this hill. 259 is already pushing up there, followed by the 2 Ersatztruppen. That's going to be looking for this Ranger Leader. The Ranger Marauders, though, might be able to sneak up and kill that. The Ranger Marauders are a very, very strong unit that Gnef has at his disposal. They have the 3 submachine guns with the Willy Pete, so they're actually pretty decent at taking out infantry. And they also have the bazooka, of course, for ambushing vehicles. The 60mm mortar actually died on the top side here as the 259 went very aggressive. The M4A1 has played extremely safe. I think that makes sense because there is, of course, the Pack 38 up on the hill and there's Pack 38 on the road. So the M4A1, if it got in a dodgy position, would get singled out. But here the M4A1 will kill the 259 at close range. It looks like the Ranger Marauders will be able to take care of the Ersatztruppen at close range as well. The Ranger Leader also took out the other Ersatztruppen. And now that the Panzergrens have arrived, though, with the half-track, that's going to make things a lot more difficult. And with the Ranger Marauders and the Ranger Leader being a lot weaker than they were before, the Ranger Leader is going to go down. The Ranger Marauders will eventually get taken out as well, I would suspect. T30 does have a very strong HE capability, so he's going to be using that to take out the Pack 38. However, it doesn't have much armor, so will be penetrated very easily, and the Pack 38 does get a penetrating shot there, but not enough to get the kill, and the Pack 38 goes down due to that rate of fire. So the Ersatztruppen have already been cleaned up here on the bottom side, but the 259s, they are still in position, and anytime an engineer unit gets spotted in the open, it's going to take a lot of damage, as you can see. Even with the 2-star veterancy, which reduces the damage they take, that just got demolished. M10's trying to move through the town to clean that up. Bazooka takes care of the one on the bottom side, M4A1 moving through the center. So Pack 38 might be able to catch out the M4 on the edge of the town, but 2 Panzer IVs are now on their way with a Panzer Grenadier. And it looks like Karma's going to be forced here to use Panzer Grenadiers to hold the front line because its Ersatztruppen really haven't done the job so far. Ranger Marauders do manage to spot the MG there, so that was really nice. M4 does take out the 259. Nice to see the M10 being used. I do like the use of the M10. I think M10s can be really strong in light cover, especially since they have that turret. Sometimes the turret can cause them to get caught out because of the slow rotation time, but the fact you've got the APCR and AP does allow you to switch it up and therefore increase the rate of fire of your tank. These rifles definitely not in a good spot. Excuse me. The 222 going to force that back with the Panzer IV. Those rifles, they do have the M1 Garands. I think they also have a BAR, one BAR, but they're very nice mid-range engagement squads. Pak 38 is going to take out the T30 in the middle. MG42 did take a shot, but it wasn't on target. So the Panzer IVs here, they're going to be covering this bottom side. Oh, M1 gun's going to have to unload. Oh, just gets out in time. Nice bombing strike from the P47 is going to force back some Ersatztruppen from the engineers. M1 gun can now engage the Panzer IV. There's no recon on this bottom side for Karma, so Gnef has got off to a good start down here and has found himself in a 13 to 11 position. As we move into phase B, I would not be surprised to see a King Tiger pop out, because with that 170 income, I think Karma can afford one quite well. But saying that, I'm not sure if he'll actually use one, because there isn't very many good places on this map where a King Tiger can be useful. He could probably place one up on this ridge and maybe have one over here, but that's only good defensively, really, rather than offensively, which is what he's going to have to do if he wants to get back into this game. Anyway, P47 is going to go head on with the Focke-Wulf. The Focke-Wulf is going to pull out those 50 cals, certainly ripped through that, left a massive oil leak in the Focke-Wulf 190. It's going to retreat. Nice strafing run by the P47 before, though, to take out this AT gun. Oh, that's a bailout. The M10 there. Getting bailed out, I assume, by the Marder. The trade. The M4 has gone down. The Panzer IV in the open also died. So, it looks like Karma's left with the armor advantage here, with the Panzer IVs and the Marder. His Panzergrens, though, not looking in good shape. And without those Panzergrens, he can't really push this armor into the town because he won't be able to spot the engineers, which will, basically be able to kill the Marder at close range at least, and the bazookas, of course, can take out the Panzer IV quite easily. So if the Panzergrens aren't there to deal with those first, then he's going to be in trouble. Jeep 50 cal actually being used. Interesting to see the Jeep 50 cal in play. Not something you see very often, but a quick little recon vehicle. And the 50 cal does have some decent suppression and also can kill light vehicles. So it could, for example, take out these half tracks. But against a unit that has any form of AP, it's going to go down very quickly. It also doesn't have any armor, so light arms fire can take it out. And that's generally why you don't see those Jeeps used very often. But in that case, maybe he was just using it to scout and see what was ahead of him. But Gnef's going to be quite happy, I think, in this position in the town. He's taken the offensive objective on the far side of the town. I think maybe eventually he'll fix up this M10, but it's probably not a priority for him. Since you don't want to put a 40-point supply over here just to pick up a 60-point tank, I think that is. Or maybe like a 50-point, 55-point tank, something like that. He might do it, though, when he decides to bring in some supply for his mortars, and then just quickly have it come over here and repair it and then go back. But we'll see. Rheinwerfer is on the field. The Rheinwerfer is a really, really nice unit. It has the multiple rocket launcher, or multiple mortar launcher, sorry. And it can fire 16 mortar shells at once and saturate a target very well, allowing you to like pin down multiple units and then push in with your own infantry to surrender things. So that's what the Rheinwerfer is great for. It can also take out units that are open top, so this M10 might die to the Rheinwerfer. And the other thing is it can fire its smoke very quickly after its HE. So you can fire HE and then smoke straight after and then run in. Or you can do smoke and then HE behind the smoke or something and then go in that way. And there's a lot of ways you can do things with the Rheinwerfer, but it's a very versatile artillery unit. The M1 gun there going to take a bombing strike from the Focke-Wulf 190. Looks like this P47 came in to try and shoot it, but couldn't get the head on. Gabby, oh, is it going to do it? No, not quite. This Focke-Wulf's likely to get away now. And I don't think that Gnef's going to want to continue the engagement if Gabi is damaged. However, he's still going for it. Maybe just covering his P-47 as it goes in for the bombing run onto the MG-42. Nice snipe there. The M1 gun did kill the Marder, didn't manage to kill the Panzer IV though. And now we're going to see the Focke-Wulf. That Focke-Wulf's in trouble. It really is. A nice micro here from Karma. You can see him microing that to make it tilt in the right direction. And he might score himself a kill with that nice maneuver. Gabi's in trouble. Yep, Gabi goes down. Nicely done. Great play there from Karma. And he's also brought in the Gepard, which is going to stop this P-47 from staying in the open for too long. Goes for the bombing strike onto this building, looking for a potential infantry squad so that maybe he can put some pressure on this flag, but P-47 does go down to the two Focke-Wulfs, so another loss there for Gnef in the sky, and the Focke-Wulfs are going to be dominant now, as I think Gnef probably only has one P-47 left after all of that. A great job by Karma there to win that air engagement. And Karma really does need to put in some work in this game, because of course he's already 1-0 down, and if he loses this game that means he's knocked out of the tournament. So he'll be trying really hard to stay in the game, and so far his airplay has been on point, and that is one way back in. Does allow him to, for example, use his aircraft to strafe and bomb without really much to contest him. Buying AA on the side of Gnef is really quite inefficient, so if he can't challenge with his own fighters, then he is going to be spending more points on less useful units, and that's good for Karma to get back on the ground. So we can see the Panzer IVs now being brought in. The M4A1s, as I mentioned, don't match up as well to Panzer IVs as other variants. The M4A176, for example, is quite nice against Panzer IVs, but the M4A1 just kind of lacks the accuracy that an M4A176 has. But this M4A1 does have the 2-star veterancy, so it does have quite a lot of accuracy. Oh, nice strafing run coming in here from the Focke-Wulfs, taking out the M1 gun. P-47 going to be trying to catch out one of those, but that's not looking good. That P-47's in a bit of a tough situation right now. The Bofors might help stop these Focke-Wulfs from shooting it down, but if he goes for a head-on, he might lose out. Oh, lovely crit there though from the AA. Can that finish the job? Yeah, with this AA now in position, Karma's got to be very careful. I think Gnef specifically targeted this Focke-Wulf to try and shoot it down as it retreated. Didn't manage to get the job done. Right, we now are into Phase B. So Gnef should have had the advantage based on income in Phase A, and so far he has. The Vanguard paying off, giving him the 13-11, but it's not a very large income or, I guess, flag lead. He hasn't managed to double tick Karma at any point so far, so the game is still going to finish in 25 minutes. But now we're into Phase B. Karma has the advantage because he has Maverick. So 170 points per minute now coming in, and that has allowed him to purchase a lot of these units, including the two 231s and the two Panzergrens here, two Panzer IVs, another Panzer IV further back. These M1 guns, that one got taken out. Nice shot there. This M1 gun also nearly got taken out, but that did manage to kill what was attacking it. 231. Is that going to be able to kill it? Yep, M1 gun goes down. There was another shot here. Something blew up on the backside. It looks like Gnef is in a little bit of trouble. This nice sort of mechanized push here from Karma, using his Panzergrens ahead of his half-tracks and his 20mm armored cars, and also the Panzer IVs. Very, very nice indeed. The supply has finally been brought in, but the Ersatztruppen actually going to be able to shoot the supply. M10 back online though. Might be able to save the day. Supply goes down. That's not worth it. That's not worth it at all. If you have to use a supply vehicle to fix your tank, it makes it so much harder to get value because the tank has to do the extra work. And at 55 points, it's not really worth, like I said before, the 40 points to fix it. Focke-Wulf 190s coming in with the bombing strikes here, doing quite a lot of damage actually to these rifles. Nice use of the Aufklärer here. It's got really nice recon. Karma on the top side. This M10 going to be approached by the Panzer IV. Close range engagement here. The M10's currently hidden behind that building. Pops out. Can he get the gun on target in time? The Panzer IV goes down. The M10 is still good to go. M10 has its turret turned the wrong way. Looks like Gnef's just going to be microing that across. Hellcat is shooting down the road. The Hellcat can be taken out by the 231 quite easily because of the low armor. Gotta be careful there. Hellcats are very nice. They're very fast, but very, very fragile. Good job. Gnef manages to keep the M10 alive at least. But in the center, Karma's Panzergrens are taking advantage of the bombing strikes that landed earlier. These rifles, though, starting to fire with the M1 Garans and the BAR. Nicely done. Oh, the Aufklärer there going to get found, so removes the eyes from Karma as well. And that flag goes over to Gnef. Gnef taking back this flag on the top side has also given him a 14 to 10. So looks like Gnef's trying to get aggressive. And this could be a mistake because he's still fighting against the Maverick deployment type right now. 172mm off-map has come down. Oh, but it's dead already. Lovely hit there from the M10. Is going to limit that off-map to one strike. Does kill the Ranger Marauders that were in the church, so blinds Gnef on this bottom side. Bazooka, though, took out one of the Panzer IVs earlier. Looks like the M10 did end up getting killed by the Panzer IV soon after. Adds a quite limited amount of infantry on the side of Gnef, but he does have the assault group now coming up to reinforce. M4 on the hill did go down. I think this M4 also died to the approaching Panzer IVs at range. I mentioned again how the Panzer IVs can defeat those much easier because they have the better gun. The AP is a lot more likely to penetrate at longer range, and therefore when they do hit, they do more damage. And like the M4 is just a lot less likely to hit is basically the problem. P47 going down there again. Karma getting a lovely fighter kill once again. Xylophone hits the Ersatztruppen as they try and approach the town. Keeps them back for the time being. And the engineers destroy the other one. So these assault group, they are interesting units. They are 8-man submachine gun squads. They do have 6 grease guns and 2 Thompson machine guns and also smoke. So smoke's pretty good for allowing them to move across the open areas of a town in order to get to other cover. Or the Hellcat there gets the tracks broken onto the Pioneer. The Pioneer's going to want to unload sooner than later or it will die. Yep, Pioneer's dead. Good snipes from this M18. It's cutting off reinforcements really nicely, but Karma's coming in with a Focke-Wulf 190 with a 250 kilogram bomb. This is an open top vehicle, so this will do a lot of damage. I'm not quite sure if it's going to get the kill. Karma's actually hidden the Hellcat. The Focke-Wulf tried to predict where it was going, missed. Focke-Wulfs don't succeed in their strafing runs, so the Hellcat survives. And look how fast that Hellcat moves. Going to start engaging the 231. 231 will fire first. This Hellcat's probably dead. Yep. 231 takes it out. Who needs a tank when you can use an armored car? So the Panzer IV is now moving up onto the hill. No King Tiger in sight. Just Panzer IVs. Karma knows that's all he needs. Will struggle a little bit with these Panzer IVs against something like this Rhino. The Rhino's got to get in position ASAP because the closer the Panzer IVs get to this ridge, the harder it's going to be for the Rhino to take advantage of its better armor. The ideal situation for the Rhino is to be engaging from a distance because it can bounce the shots from the 135 millimeters of penetration that the Panzer IV has with that 120 mils of armor. But the 90 millimeters of penetration can go through the 75 mils of armor and also the 65 mil on the Panzer IV-G. So the Rhino can trade pretty well at range, but the closer they get, the more the Panzer IV has a better chance of penetrating, and that makes things very difficult for Gnef. The Ju-88 actually hanging about. This has the 10 50-kilogram bombs. It's a very strange variant of bomber to be using. It of course will still pin down any infantry squads that are in your way, but the Focke-Wulf bombers are generally preferred. In this case, and maybe it's just because he doesn't have more cards of the bombers. And oh, that Bofors, lovely crits there onto the Ju-88, takes it straight out the sky. That was not worth it at all. Barely touches the rifle leader, takes a few men out of the squad, but that's going to survive unless it gets surrendered. It shouldn't do because of the units close behind. But yeah, lovely job by the Bofors there to just strip that down. Hellcat has come in. It's trying to get some snipes at a distance at the moment onto these units on the hill. Unfortunately, again, the Hellcat's lack of armor is going to cause it to probably die pretty easily, and the Panzer IV's getting close to the Rhino do clean it up as well. And this is just becoming a turkey shoot on the bottom side for these Panzer IVs. Hellcat's dead, Rhino's dead. This is a huge breach in Gnef's front line on the top side, and meanwhile on the bottom the same thing's happening. The Maverick deployment still well underway. Last tick coming through just over 50 seconds ago as we move into phase C. I think he gets one more tick of the 170 and then he goes down to the 80 income. So Gnef's power spike, or sorry, Karma's power spike is now where he has all of these units on the field from his phase B, and he's certainly made great use of it, especially to break through on this top side, and it's taken a lot of flags very quickly. Still has a bit of work to do in the town. Gnef's infantry is always going to be quite stubborn in this position. The rifles can do a lot of damage to Panzergrenz and Ersatztruppen at the mid-range. The rifle leader does have a sniper as well. Also has the bazooka to take out vehicles. So this combination is actually quite strong. Both is going to be able to take out the half-track as well. 2 rhinos coming into this town will certainly solidify that position. But the top side is looking very, very bad for Gnef right now. Focke-Wulf 190 bomber. Oh, nice kill. Sacrifices Ersatz. Was that his Panzergrenz? Take out the rifle leader. Well, killing the rifle leader is just really nice anyway. And the Focke-Wulf 190 goes in for the strafing run onto the AA. Thinks poorly of that. Might die because of it. Is it going to go down? Still trying to pay attention to the top of the map as well. Focke-Wulf will survive. Rhino now moving forwards. But Karma's just not going to take the range engagement against the Rhino. He knows that that's the wrong thing to do. So he's just not going to let it happen. And that forces Gnef to drive forwards. And the closer he gets, the more the Panzer IVs can actually fight back. And it just becomes harder and harder. Having lost this ground now, Karma's put himself in a very nice position to just hold on to it. And if he can get a King Tiger even all the way up here, that would be great. I wouldn't be surprised though, if based on what we've seen, if Karma doesn't even have a King Tiger in his deck at all. Because the Panzer IVs can be efficient enough as it is, especially in this matchup. Rhino there again getting penetrated by the Panzer IV at close range. Not doing the job that Gnef wanted it to do. It's also gun jammed, which means he's going to need a supply vehicle to fix it up. And that's going to cost him even more. So losing grip here. Assault group does take out the Panzergrenz. Uses the smoke to get close. Panzer IV, will it take out the Bofors? Bofors does manage to back off in time. Both of those Bofors, now they're on low health, should probably just back off completely. I understand why he moved them forwards initially, to help clean up infantry and also the half-tracks. But now that they're really low on health, he should just focus on using them as AA. So that he doesn't lose them unnecessarily. Rhino's going to go in for the engagement with the Panzer IV. Bounces! That's not good. Panzer IV penetrates. That is unfortunate. Rhino took a lot of damage there. One more shot now from another tank and the Rhino goes down. So another Panzer IV. These Panzer IVs with the heat shells can get the job done, but I think their AP is lacking with the 55% or 55 millimeters of armor. The M4A1 here, trying to engage the Panzergrenz. Ranger Marauders almost got taken out there as they moved forwards. It looks like the infantry in the centre is now being cleaned up. Just a couple of 20mm vehicles and an M4 with the Panzergrenz. The captured German M4s. And yeah, a couple Panzergrens going to be able to clean that out, take another flag. So Karma holding on to the 13 to 11. Gnef has managed to push Karma back enough to grab this town. But how long that lasts, we'll have to wait and see. There is no AT infantry here, so these rhinos can actually do some serious work. Focke-Wulf bomber actually landing on top of the assault group. Not going to unload the assault group anytime soon. Now they've unloaded manually, and they're going to push out the Panzergrens. It took a lot of damage doing that. This Bofors, yeah, didn't move far enough back. Gets taken out by the machine gun of a half-track. That's what I was talking about with them being low health. No need to keep them forwards anymore. They kind of already served their purpose. The Rhino's just kind of moving into position now, though, to clean up some of this armor. Oh, that Rheinwerfer barrage over here. Unlucky to get the kill onto the Bofors. Oh, but the Panzer IV-C finishes off the M4A1. The lack of health there from the penetration of the Panzer IV engagement left the Rhino in a bad spot. And yeah, the Panzer IV winning that. Very nice indeed. M10 tries to engage the half-track here and the Panzer IV, but they both move out of line of sight. New Panzer IV on the way with the 231 and a Panzergren. Panzergren's going to be hoping to reveal the assault group that are on this flag. But the closer the Panzergrens get, the more likely they are to die to those. This M1 gun in a tough spot right now. Probably going to get killed off quite easily. It can reveal itself and fire at one of these half-tracks. But the Panzergrens are just going to hunt it. They're just still moving through there in the cover. It's going to die eventually. Yep, M1 gun takes the kill. Karma now knows what's there, and he'll move in to kill that off. There we go. The M10's moved up quite a lot. Takes the shot at the half-track. 231's coming around for the flanking shot. Oh, lovely job there. Shoots it in the side armor. M10 has very weak side armor. 231 actually moved up first, revealed the assault group. The assault group, of course, don't have any AT, and an SBW-231 has a closed top, so it can't fire or can't throw its 60-meter grenades. And so the Panzergrens just are escorted onto the flag, and that's going to be a 15th flag for Karma, bringing down the victory timer to 12 minutes. The Panzergrens going to take out the M1 gun. Gnef in a real tough position on this hill back here. Demolition group on their way. But not really anything of substance for Gnef across the map. It seems like this Phase B push from Karma really decimated everything that Gnef had. We're now well into Phase C, and Gnef hasn't really recovered. He does have the income advantage at this point in the game, but he just isn't trading very well. And these Rhinos, as much as they could be doing, they're just not getting the job done. The M4A1s are very strong in certain situations, and in this situation against Panzer IV spam, they should be okay, but when they're forced to fight close up, and Karma's doing a great job of making that happen, he can't get value out of them at all. Focke-Wulf doesn't really get much done on that demolition group. This one actually gets shot down by the 2 health Bofors. Panzer IV forced back there. This Panzer IV also pushed back. Demolition group arriving. They do have the bazookas. One really nice thing about a lot of the American infantry is they do have a lot of bazookas. These demolition group also have flamethrowers. They actually excel quite well at close range as well. Well, that Bofors, will it go down? But Rheinwerfer just hasn't really performed very well. But it is pinned, and the 231 will be able to kill it off. Ranger mortars moving in. M10 onto the main road. The Rhino here, is it damaged? It is. That Rhino's in a tough spot. 231 does go down to the bazooka. Got a frontal engagement against the 231. Rhino should be safe. Upper Blitz moved forwards there by Karma. Demolition group take out the Panzer IV. Nice jump up by Gnef. Demolition group, they could do a lot. They just got to be careful of these MGs. If they take too much MG fire, they'll just be pinned, and then they won't be useful at all anyway. Another hit there. Ranger Marauder's also going to be firing or throwing the Willy Pete's. Do manage to do quite a lot of damage to the Pioneers, but the Panzergun's going to finish them off. Focke-Wulf comes in with a strafe run onto the demolition group. And, well, if these infantry die, looks like Gnef's kind of out of steam. 18-6. Panzerguns claim the flag in the center. The bridge flag has been taken. The 231's moved up here. Demolition group holding it back with a bazooka. But relying really hard on these demolition group, which leaves you vulnerable to being countered by aircraft and artillery. Vodafone now having to go and an engagement onto the M4. Looking to take out what is a damaged M4 here. See if he can get some rockets on target. He does. M4 goes down. That might allow him to start pushing up a bit more aggressively. Yep, he is going to be going for it, but that is major defeat in 4 minutes and 40 seconds. Demolition group are dead on the top side. This Panzer IV has full health, I'm pretty sure. So he can probably kill the Rhino. Oh, unless he bounces. Panzer IV gets pretty unlucky there, I think. Then again, Gnef has had a share of that bad luck at close range. Bombing strike onto the M10. And it looks like Gnef's had enough. That's going to be a surrender. 30 minutes, 14 seconds into the game. And yeah, just the ebb and flow of a Vanguard versus Maverick. I think Maverick does really well into Vanguard just because it can really punch back against the supposedly great early game of the Vanguard. But since Vanguard got a nerf on the income in Phase A, it has made them a bit less potent against like a Maverick deployment type. You don't have as much on the field as the Phase B income starts to arrive for the Maverick. So now it kind of seems like the Maverick has a bit more oomph in Phase B, even though the Phase B income of the Maverick was also nerfed by 10 points. But because of like them both being lower in general, it makes the points value higher for units. So it kind of creates this little bit extra disparity, I think, between the two deployment styles. And in the end, well, 3,820 kills to 2,965 losses for Karma. It's had a very clear lead there of about 900 points by the end of the game. And that's going to be units on the ground, mainly from that Phase B push back. So, nicely done. I think Gnef had the right idea. And honestly, in the early game, the P-47s were doing pretty good work, but as soon as Karma started to get on top of his air micro, he shut down the P-47s really fast, and that kind of stagnated Gnef's playstyle and forced him into using tanks. And the M4A1s just weren't really performing that well against other tanks. And then when he brought in the Rhinos to kind of do the job against the Panzer IVs, they also didn't do well because they were forced to fight at close range due to Karma's maneuvers. So that was really nice of Karma to do. He played that very well. The Hellcat did okay there, killing a Panzer IV and a 231. The Hellcats dying, though, to 231s is something you don't really want to see. They're great at long-range snapshots, and we didn't really see, again, the Hellcats being used at range very often, but the map kind of forced Gnef into that situation as well. So Karma here, getting good value out of his recon units, of course. The 259s and the 222s doing very well. These Focke-Wulfs, look at that. 3 P-47s from that fighter, very nice indeed. This one managed to kill the P-47 and destroyed 2 mortars. This one managed to kill 2 M1 guns with the strafing. So nicely done there. Panzer IV is getting a lot of value. If a Panzer IV can kill a Rhino, that's like a great trade. It really is, because the Rhinos cost so much more than a standard Sherman. And yeah, overall, I think Karma, great comeback there. A Maverick style. Didn't use a single King Tiger with the 21st. It just shows how strong the 21st can be. without those King Tigers, because it has so much up its sleeve in form of recon vehicles, decent artillery support units like the Rheinwerfer, and of course those Focke-Wulfs. So there we have it. That is it. That is game 2. It brings it back to 1-1. That means we're going to a third game in this best of 3 series. We'll see who takes it in the next one. That's it for now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you then. Goodbye.